I sat on the old sofa and watched the door as Zayden walked in. I felt my heart jump. My mother stood behind me and touched my shoulder. She said I needed to stay calm, but my hands were cold. Zayden looked around my home like he already owned it. He spoke in a soft voice, but every word felt heavy. He said he came to talk about Sammy and the money problem. I wanted to run, but I stayed. I felt danger around me. I tried to smile, but my voice broke when I said hello to him today. He sat down across from me and said he wanted to help. I felt the pain in my chest grow. My mother asked him about the promise he made last week. He said he would fix everything if I agreed to one simple choice. I knew the choice was not simple. I looked at Sammy, but he kept his eyes down. I asked what he needed from me. He smiled and said he needed my trust and my hand in marriage. My breath stopped. My mother whispered that this was my only way out. I felt my courage break again. I said I needed time to think, but Zayden said time was dangerous. He said other people wanted the money too, and they would hurt Sammy if we waited. I felt my fear rise like a storm. My mother grabbed my hand and said we should accept the offer. I asked Sammy to speak, but he stayed silent. His silence broke something inside me. I asked Zayden why he wanted me. He said I had a calm heart and a loyal nature. I did not feel calm. I felt trapped. I felt the past and future close around me now. I stood up and walked to the window. I looked at the street and wished for freedom. My mother came to my side and told me not to make a mistake. She said home needed peace, and money could buy peace. I told her peace without choice was not peace. She said fear made me blind. I said truth made me see. Zayden waited behind us like a shadow. He said he did not want to rush me, but danger did not wait. I turned back and asked if there was any other way. He said there was not today. I sat again and held my head. My mother asked me to think about my future. I said my future felt lost. Sammy finally spoke and said he was sorry. I asked him why he hid the truth. He said he feared my anger. I told him I feared losing myself. Zayden sighed and said he wanted a simple promise from me. He said he would pay everything if I became his wife. The room felt heavy. I asked for one night to decide. He agreed but said the danger moved fast. I felt the night press on my heart. After he left, I looked at my mother. I asked her why she trusted him. She said she saw hope in him. I said I saw danger. She said danger followed poor people, and money gave power. I asked if power could buy courage. She said courage came from choice. I said I had no choice. She said she did not want to lose our home. I held her hands and said I needed time. She told me to think fast. I went to my room and cried. I felt memory and pain mix inside me. I feared tomorrow deeply. I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling. I asked myself why my life felt like a cage. I thought about my past and the long nights of fear in my old home. I thought about my father and his loud voice. I remembered the pain and silence. I promised myself I would never live in fear again. But now fear came back. I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. Hania called and asked if I was fine. I said no. I told her everything. She said I needed courage. I told her courage felt far today. I asked Hania what she thought about Zayden. She said he looked calm but cold. I said he scared me. She said men like him used silence as power. I said I did not want that life. She told me to run. I said my family needed the money. She said my heart needed safety more. I cried again. I told her I feared the future. She said fear could guide me or break me. I asked which one this was. She said only I could choose. After the call, I sat in the dark and held my shaking hands. The night felt long. I walked to the kitchen and drank water. My hands still shook. I asked myself if marriage could fix pain. I said no. I asked if money could buy hope. I said maybe, but not for me. I thought about the promise Zayden wanted. I thought about his voice and his eyes. I felt trapped again. I went back to my room and opened the window. The air felt cold. I asked myself if I could run. I said maybe. I said I needed courage. I said I needed to save myself somehow in this night. I sat on the floor and held my knees. I asked why my life always felt heavy. I thought about my dreams and how they slipped away. I said I needed to fight for myself. I said I needed to stand. I remembered my childhood promise to never let fear win. I looked at my shaking hands and said I must be brave. I told myself danger could not stop me forever. I told myself pain could not hold me forever. I felt a small hope grow. I stood up slowly and said I would choose my path soon now. I walked outside my room and looked at the dark hall. The house felt quiet. I heard my mother speaking softly on the phone. I guessed she spoke to Zayden. I felt anger rise, but I stayed calm. I walked to her and asked why she trusted him more than me. She said she trusted money because money saved families. I said trust without love felt empty. She said love came later. I said fear came first. She told me to stop fighting. I said I would not. I walked back to my room and closed the door hard today. I sat on my bed again and stared at the wall. I thought about the promise I made to myself when I was young. I said I would never let anyone control my life. But now control slipped from my hands. I asked myself why I always carried pain. I said maybe pain was my teacher. I said maybe courage came from deep wounds. I heard Sammy knock on my door. I opened it. He looked scared. He said sorry again. I told him I loved him but felt broken. He cried and asked for help. I held him close. I asked Sammy why he never told me the full truth. He said he feared I would blame myself. I said I already blamed myself. He said he did not want me to carry his mistakes. I said I carried them anyway. He held my hand and said he wanted me to live a free life. I asked how I could be free in this mess. He said we needed a plan. I said plans needed time. He said danger was close. I felt fear again. I held his face and told him we would survive. I said we needed. After he left my room, I lay down again. I felt the night grow heavier. I said I must make a choice before morning. I said running might save me. I said staying might break me. I asked myself which pain I could fight. I thought about Zayden and his calm voice. I thought about his cold eyes. I thought about the danger in his silence. I felt fear and courage mix. I said I needed a plan. I stood and walked to my bag. I packed a small purse. I said I would find my path soon for me. I sat on the bed with the small bag. I felt my heart race. I said I must be brave. I said I must choose myself. I thought about all the years I lived in fear. I thought about my mother and her pain. I thought about Sammy and his mistake. I said I could not save everyone. I said I needed to save myself first. I stood again and opened the door. The hall was quiet. I said the only way out was courage. I said I would walk into the future with hope. I whispered a promise to. Chapter 2, His house, not my home. His house, not my home. I stood at the gate and felt my heart shake. Zayden said, "Come in." His voice was low. I walked with slow steps. The mansion looked huge and cold. I said, "This place feels strange." He gave a small smile. "You will get used to it," he said. I did not believe him. I did not want to believe him. My hands felt cold. My memory of home came back. Home had noise and light. This place had silence and fear. Mira came down the stairs. She looked at me like I was a mistake. I said, "Hello." She did not smile. She said, "You are early." I said, "I had to come." She said, "He likes order." Her eyes were sharp. I felt like she could see my secret fear. I said, "I will try to understand." She turned away without a word. Omar stood near the hall door. He nodded once. I said, "Hi." He said, "Big day." His voice was quiet. I said, "Yes, I guess so." He said, "You look tired." I said, "It was a long morning." He looked at Zayden and said nothing more. Zayden walked close to me. He said, "Do you want water?" I said, "No, I am fine." He watched my face too long. I looked away. He said, "You must learn to stay calm." I said, "I am trying." He said, "Try harder." His tone was soft but firm. It felt like a warning. We moved deeper into the mansion. The walls were white but cold. I said, "It feels quiet here." He said, "Silence brings focus." I said, "It brings fear too." He stopped and looked at me. "Are you afraid of me?" he asked. I said, "I don't know." He said, "You should not hide from truth." I said, "I am not hiding." But I was. Inside, fear sat in my chest. We reached the dining room. It looked like a place from a hotel. Big table. Big chairs. No warmth. I touched the wood. It felt hard. I said, "Do you eat here alone?" He said, "Most days." I said, "It feels lonely." He said, "Lonely is safe." I did not understand his words. Maybe I did, and that scared me more. Mira walked in again. She said, "Mother will come soon." I said, "Okay." She asked, "Do you know our rules?" I said, "Not yet." She said, "You will learn." Her voice had no kindness. I felt small near her. I felt judged in every breath. Zayden said, "Come, let me show you the rest." I followed him. The hall was long. My steps echoed. I said, "Does anyone laugh here?" He said, "We value calm." I said, "Calm or control?" He stopped again. He looked at me with dark eyes. He said, "Control keeps life clean." I said, "My life was never clean." He said, "That is why you need me." His words felt like chains. We passed a window. Light came in but felt weak. I said, "This place has strange energy." He said, "You will grow into it." I said, "Maybe." But I knew I would not. I felt trapped already. My past came back. I remembered my father's anger. The sound of him shouting. The fear in my stomach. Zayden's silence gave me the same fear. Not loud. Not wild. But sharp. Silent like a knife. We reached another hall. A door stood at the end. It looked old. Dark wood. A lock on it. I said, "What is inside?" He said, "Storage." I said, "Why is it locked?" He said, "Old things." His answer felt wrong. I looked at the lock again. My heart felt heavy. Omar passed by and looked at the door too. For a second, his eyes met mine. He said, "Some rooms stay closed." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because they must." Then he walked away fast. I felt a cold wave run through me. Zayden touched my shoulder. I froze. He said, "Do not worry about that room." I said, "I am not worried." My voice was weak. He said, "You must trust me." I said, "Trust comes with time." He said, "In this house, trust is a rule, not a gift." I felt sick inside. We walked toward the living room. Mira was there again. She said, "Father will not like any delay." I said, "There is no delay." She said, "There is always delay with fear." I looked at her. I said, "Fear is not my choice." She said, "But it is your mistake." She left the room without waiting for a reply. I sat on the edge of a chair. Zayden sat across from me. He said, "You have doubts." I said, "Everyone has doubts." He said, "Not here." I said, "I am human." He said, "Humans break rules. I do not like broken things." His words hit me hard. I felt tears rise, but I held them back. He leaned closer. He said, "When we marry, your life will change." I said, "I know." He said, "You will do things my way." I said, "I will try." He said, "No. You will follow." His voice dropped lower. "Nothing in your life will happen without my permission." My breath paused. My heart raced. I could not speak. I felt trapped in my own skin. He stood up. "You should rest," he said. I said, "I do not feel safe here." He said, "Safety is not a feeling. It is a rule." Then he walked out of the room. I sat alone for a few minutes. The room felt heavy. The walls felt close. I whispered to myself, "This is not my home." I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I needed courage. I needed a plan. I walked back into the hall. My eyes went to the locked door again. It felt like it was watching me. Like it held a secret meant for me. I said softly, "What is behind you?" No one answered. The silence felt alive. I walked away, but the memory of that door stayed with me. I knew something waited there. Something dark. Something that could change everything. I left the mansion that day with shaking hands. But I also left with a choice forming in my mind. A choice I would make soon. A choice to save myself. The house was not my home. It was a warning. And I felt every part of it. When I reached the main door again, I heard Mira call my name. I turned. She stood with her arms crossed. She said, "Do you think you can handle this house?" I said, "I do not know." She stepped closer. "My brother is not simple," she said. I said, "No one is simple." She shook her head. "You do not understand. He keeps people close, but not free." I felt my throat go dry. I said, "I will learn." She said, "Learn fast." Then she walked away again. Outside, I breathed hard. The air felt real. The sky looked open. I touched my bag and felt the old letter inside. My mother wrote that letter long ago. It said, "Find courage. Find your voice. Do not lose your soul." I held those words in my mind. I needed them now more than ever. Omar came out after a minute. He said, "You look scared." I said, "I just need fresh air." He said, "This family is heavy." I said, "I can see." He looked back at the mansion. "Zayden is not cruel," he said. But he is fixed. I said, fixed in what way? He said, in his control. In his rules. I asked, is there anything I should know? He paused. Just keep your heart safe, he said. Then he walked back inside. I sat on the stone bench near the gate. My hands were cold again. I said to myself, this marriage is wrong. The word wrong felt loud in my mind. But I also felt the pressure of my father's anger. The memory of his voice shouting, you do what I say. You marry who I choose. I hated that memory. I hated that fear. I looked at the mansion one more time. The windows looked like eyes. The walls looked like they held old stories. And the locked door. I could not forget it. It stayed in my mind like a bad dream. I felt something inside me whisper, leave now. But I could not. Not yet. I stood up and said, I will act normal. I will smile. I will wait. But inside, I started planning. A plan to protect myself. A plan to escape if I had to. A plan to run. When I left the gate, I told myself one last thing. I will not be trapped again. My voice was soft but steady. I needed courage. And I needed time. I walked away with fear and quiet hope. Chapter 3, A Deal with Danger. I sat in the living room and tried to calm my heart. My mother stood near the window and said, Aira, you must stay strong. Money is important. This marriage will save us. I looked at her face and saw fear, not hope. I said, I know, but I feel this is wrong. She shook her head and said, you need courage. You made a promise. We cannot lose this chance. Sammy walked in, but he did not look at me. I said, Sammy, can we talk? He said, later. I need to go. His voice sounded weak. I grabbed his arm and said, you avoid me every day. Tell me what is wrong. He pulled his hand away and said, nothing. I am fine. Then he left the room. My mother watched him and said, he is stressed. Do not push him. But I felt the truth was hiding under his silence. That afternoon, Hania came to see me. She hugged me and said, you look tired. Are you okay? I said, no. I feel trapped. Everyone talks about survival, money, and future, but no one asks what I want. She touched my hand and said, then run. You have hope. Do not marry a man you fear. Her words cut deep. I said, he helped my family. How can I run? She said, help cannot become chains. Love needs choice, not fear. I looked at her and said, I am scared. She said, I know. But fear cannot guide your life. Later that evening, Zayden came to our home. He brought gifts and placed them on the table. He said, these are for you, Aira. I opened one box. Inside was a gold necklace. I said, this is too much. He smiled and said, nothing is too much for my future wife. His voice was soft, but I felt danger under every word. My mother smiled at him and said, you are very kind. He looked at her and said, I take care of the people I love. I tried to give him a small smile, but inside my body, something shook. He watched me closely. Too closely. He said, you do not like the necklace? I said, no, it is nice. He stepped closer and said, then why do you look afraid? My breath stopped. I said, I am just stressed. He nodded slowly and said, you should not fear anything. After the wedding, your life will be simple. You will stay home. You will not need money or worry. His words felt like a cage. When he left, my mother said, he loves you. You must trust him. I said, his love feels heavy. She said, you think too much. I wanted to say more, but my voice refused to move. That night, I sat in my room and tried to think about the future. I said to myself, I want peace. I want freedom. But can I escape? My heart hurt. My mind felt lost. I held an old photo of my father. His anger always lived in my memory. I whispered, I do not want another man who controls my life. The house felt quiet, too quiet. I walked to the hallway to get some water. As I passed the dining room, I heard voices. Mira and her friend stood near the stairs. Mira said, she must stay in line after the wedding. She looks weak, but weak people break rules. The friend laughed and said, do not worry. Zayden knows how to train a wife. My hands turned cold. I stepped back before they saw me. I went to my room and shut the door softly. My breath came fast. I said to myself, I need to think. I need a plan. My fear grew with every second. I felt like I was drowning. In the morning, Hania called me and said, you did not sleep, right? I said, no. I heard Mira last night. They want to control me. She said, then leave before the wedding. I said, I cannot leave my mother and Sammy. She said, they will survive. But you may not. Her voice broke. I closed my eyes and said, I need time. The day moved slowly. My mother talked to guests. Sammy stayed outside, avoiding me again. Zayden sent more messages. Rest well, he wrote. Tomorrow will change everything. His words scared me. In the evening, I helped my mother place flowers in the hallway. She said, do you remember your childhood promise? You said you would always take care of us. I said, yes, but I also need a life. She said, your life will be safe with Zayden. I whispered, safe for who? She did not answer. When night came, I stood near the window and watched the dark street. I said softly, I have to survive. I have to choose myself. My fear was still there, but a small hope grew with it. Then my phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. It said, do not try anything. I see everything. My body froze. My hands shook. I said, he knows. He knows I want to run. I sat on the floor and cried for a long time. The room felt heavy. The air felt sharp. I said, I need a plan. I need courage. I need to leave before it is too late. The night before the wedding became the longest night of my life. I packed a small bag and hid it under my bed. I said, tomorrow, I must choose. Stay and lose myself, or run and find hope. I looked at my reflection in the mirror. My eyes looked tired. My face looked lost. I whispered, I will find a way out. I must. Then I turned off the lights and waited for morning. But morning did not come with peace. I woke before the sun and heard my mother speaking on the phone. Her voice was low. She said, yes, she is ready. Do not worry. She will not run. My heart dropped. She did not trust me. Maybe she never did. When she saw me in the doorway, she smiled and said, good morning. We have a big day. I said, who were you talking to? She said, just a guest. But her eyes did not match her voice. I walked to the kitchen, and Sammy sat at the table. He looked tired. I said, Sammy, please talk to me. He said, Aira, please not today. I sat beside him and said, you are scared too. I see it. He looked at me with red eyes and said, I cannot protect you. I tried. I failed. I held his hand and said, "Tell me the truth." He shook his head and said, "After the wedding." "I promise." His promise felt weak. I went outside to get some air. Hania arrived before noon. She pulled me aside and said, "You look pale." "What happened?" I said, "My mother talked to someone early. I think it was Zayden." She frowned and said, "He is securing you like property." I nodded and said, "I feel like a prisoner already." She said, "Then you must escape tonight. Do not wait for the wedding." I said, "I do not know how. He watches everything." She said, "Then trust me. Trust yourself." We sat on the steps, and she held my hand. She said, "Say it. Say you want to leave." I breathed in and said, "I want to leave." The words felt powerful. She smiled and said, "Good. Now you need courage." I said, "I have fear, not courage." She said, "Courage is acting even when you have fear." Later in the afternoon, Zayden called me. His voice was calm. He said, "Aira, are you ready for tomorrow?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You sound unsure." I said, "It is a big step." He said, "Do not worry. I will guide your future." His words felt wrong. I said, "Can I ask something?" He said, "Anything." I said, "What if I want to work after marriage?" He paused for a long time. Then he said, "You will not need that." My stomach twisted. Before evening, Mira sent me a box with a white dress. A note inside said, "Wear this. Do not disappoint my brother." I felt sick. I told my mother, "I do not want this dress." She said, "Do not create problems. Mira is helping." I said, "She does not like me." My mother said, "You must ignore small things." As night fell again, fear filled the house. I heard footsteps outside my door. I held my breath. Someone whispered, "Make sure she stays inside." I recognized the voice. It was Mira. My heartbeat grew fast. I said to myself, "They are watching me now." I sat on my bed and whispered, "I will leave. I must leave." I needed courage. Chapter 4, The Wedding Night I Chose Freedom. I stood at the altar, my hands shaking. My heart beat fast. I looked at Zayden. He smiled gently. His eyes were calm. Too calm. I felt trapped already. Aira, I whispered, my voice trembling, "Take you, Zayden." My lips barely moved. I wanted to run. My hands shook under his. "You may speak louder," he said softly, his fingers squeezing mine. "I want to hear it." I swallowed hard. I tried to say the words. To have and to hold, until my throat closed. I wanted to scream. My body wanted to move, to flee, but my feet stayed rooted. Zayden's smile never left. "Say it, Aira. You can do it." I felt my mother's gaze on me. Farah's eyes were wet. "This is your duty," she whispered. "Think of Sammy. Think of our home." I nodded, but the words tasted like poison. I did not want to be here. I did not want him. But I could not show it. Not yet. I promise, I said finally. My voice was weak. I hated it. My soul screamed, "No. Not him. Not this life." "You have a beautiful voice," Zayden said. "I'm glad to hear you say it." I forced a smile. Everyone clapped. The music played softly. Hania stood at the side, her eyes meeting mine. She did not smile. I saw her warning in her glance. "Run when you can." The ceremony ended. People hugged us. My mother cried. Sammy shook his head, whispering thanks. I nodded, pretending to be happy. Inside, I felt sick. The reception passed slowly. I wore the heavy dress, my feet aching. Every step felt like chains. Zayden held my hand at the table. You look lovely tonight, he said. I nodded. Thank you. I kept my eyes on my plate. I could not speak more. You are quiet, he said. His voice was calm but sharp. Do you like it here? It is fine, I lied. I pushed a piece of food around with my fork. My appetite was gone. You don't smile much, he said. I hope that will change. I hope so, I murmured. My mind was racing. I thought about my small bag hidden in the carriage. The clothes, the money, the few things I packed carefully for this night. My escape. The reception ended. I excused myself. I need fresh air, I said. No one questioned me. Zayden nodded, still calm. The room was quiet. The mansion was silent except for soft music behind closed doors. My heart beat fast. My hands shook as I opened my bag. I checked the small items, cash, a few clothes, my phone, some papers. Everything was ready. Zayden returned after a phone call. I could hear his footsteps on the wooden floor. Calm. Precise. I felt fear crawl over me. I will be back soon, he said. Don't go anywhere. I will stay here, I said. My voice was soft. I waited until I heard him leave again. The house was still. The lights dim. Shadows filled the hallway. My legs shook. I gripped my bag tightly. I stepped into the corridor. The carpet muffled my footsteps. I felt the walls closing in. I remembered Hania's words, run, Aira. Take your life back tonight. I moved slowly at first, then faster. The hallway seemed endless. Each door was a shadow. I tried to ignore the sound of my own breathing. A door creaked. I froze. I held my bag tighter. My hand trembled on the handle of the back door. The cold night air hit my face. Rain started falling. I did not care. I had to go. I ran. My heels slipped on the wet stones. The rain soaked me. My dress clung to my skin. I did not look back. I could hear nothing but my own heart pounding. Somewhere behind me, I thought I heard Zayden's voice. Aira, but I did not stop. I ran faster. The garden gate was ahead. Mud and puddles soaked my feet. I jumped over a small wall. My lungs burned. My bag slipped from my hand. I caught it. I ran into the street. Empty. Dark. The rain fell harder. I whispered to myself, I'm free. I am free. Tears mixed with the rain. I wiped my face. My hands were shaking, my legs sore. I did not know where I was going. I only knew I had to keep moving. A car passed slowly, lights reflecting on wet asphalt. I crouched behind a bush, shivering. No one stopped. I was invisible. Hania's voice came in my memory. You can do it. You deserve to live your life. I walked for hours, not daring to rest. My feet were sore. My body ached. My bag was heavy, but I held it close. At one point, I sat on a curb. I closed my eyes. The cold seeped into my bones. I whispered, I'm sorry. I waited too long. I should have done this sooner. The wind carried a hint of freedom. I looked up at the sky. The clouds parted a little, revealing stars. My heart slowed. My fear did not disappear, but courage grew. I had no plan. No one to call. Only the night, the rain, and the wet road. Yet, I felt alive for the first time in years. I smiled faintly. I had chosen myself. I moved again, walking carefully along the empty road. Shadows chased me in my mind, but I did not run from them anymore. I faced them. The mansion was far behind me. The wedding, the ceremony, the promises, they were all behind me. My life, my choice, my freedom, I carried them with me. I stopped for a moment. The rain poured on my face. I whispered one last apology, not to him, not to anyone, but to myself. I'm sorry I waited so long. But I am free now. I walked on, my bag clutched tightly. The night embraced me. The world was empty, but it was mine. No one knew where I was. No one could stop me. I had chosen freedom. My heart ached, my body shook, but my spirit soared. I kept walking, step by step, into the darkness. I did not know where I would end up, but I knew I would survive. I was alone, but I was alive. I was free. Chapter 5, The Night the World Turned Against Me. I ran. My shoes hit the wet road. My heart thumped hard. Every shadow felt alive. I did not know where to go. I just ran. Rain fell on my face. Cold and sharp. I tried to breathe. I could hear my own steps, fast and panicked. Stay calm, Aira, I whispered to myself. My bag was light, but my chest felt heavy. I could hear voices behind me. I did not turn. I could not. A car's headlights flashed across the street. I froze. My chest tightened. My mind screamed. No, 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 I muttered. I thought of Zayden. His calm voice. His eyes. I shivered. The car stopped near me. A man stepped out. Uniform. Police. My heart jumped. Stop there, he said. His voice was firm. I did not move. I could not. My hands shook. I am just, I stammered. My words fell flat. Where are you going at this hour? He asked. His eyes were sharp. Not kind. Not friendly. I felt small. I need help, I said quickly. My voice cracked. Help? He raised an eyebrow. From who? I don't know, I lied. My throat was dry. I am in trouble. He stepped closer. I stepped back. My shoes slipped on wet concrete. I grabbed the edge of a pole to steady myself. Are you running from someone? He asked. I could see he did not fully believe me. His eyes looked dangerous. I swallowed. I think so, I said. My mind spun. Half-truths. That is all I could give. I could not tell him everything. Not yet. You look like trouble, he said. Or like you caused trouble. His eyes searched me. I could not hide the fear. I just want to go home, I said. But I had no home. My words tasted bitter. Home? Where is your home? His tone was sharp. I stepped back again. I cannot go home, I whispered. My voice was small. The rain hit my face. My bag felt heavier. I need to stay safe. Safe? From who? He took a step closer. I could see lines on his face. Hard life. Secrets. I sensed danger, but I could not stop talking. I cannot say, I said quickly. It's complicated. He stared at me for a long moment. My legs trembled. I felt trapped. Do you know you can be arrested for running at night? He asked. I know, I said. My lips were cold. I swallowed hard. My hands shook. I just cannot stay. Please. He paused. I thought he would call someone. My mind raced. Zayden. My mother. The mansion. My wedding night. Everything. My heart ached. You are hiding something, he said finally. I can see it in your eyes. I am scared, I said. My voice was quiet. I cannot go back. He studied me. I watched him. His eyes were not kind. Not cruel. Something else. I could not read it. Where will you go? He asked. I have a friend, I lied. She can help me. He nodded slowly. Do not lie to me again. I can find you. I am not lying, I said quickly. My chest heaved. The rain soaked my hair and dress. My bag slipped on my shoulder. He stayed for a moment longer. I waited. Every second felt like an hour. My fear boiled inside me. Go, he said finally. Before someone finds you. I nodded, without thinking. I turned and ran. My shoes slipped again. I fell, scraping my knees. Pain shot through me. I bit my lip. Did not scream. Could not. I ran past the dark street. My bag bounced. I covered my face. I could hear my own breathing. I could hear the wind. I could hear nothing else. I reached the bus stop. Empty. Old. Rusted benches. Rain dripping from the roof. I slid down onto the wet bench. My hands shook. My heart raced. I tried to calm down. Think, Aira. Think, I whispered. I pulled my knees close. My bag rested beside me. I tried to dry my face with my sleeve. Another car came. Headlights sharp in my eyes. My stomach turned. My heart froze. Police. Again? The car stopped. I held my breath. The door opened. A man stepped out. Inspector Dud. His eyes dark, not warm. Not soft. But dangerous. I remembered him. From the bus stop last year. Always quiet. Always watching. Why are you here? He asked, his voice calm but heavy. I ran, I said. My lips trembled. I cannot go home. From who? His eyes pierced me. I swallowed hard. Could I tell him? No. Not yet. I do not know, I said. My voice cracked. I need help. Please. He studied me. Silence stretched. My chest hurt. Every beat loud. I could hear it. Get up, he said finally. You cannot stay here. I cannot go back, I said quickly. Please, my voice shook. He sighed. You can go, he said. But stay hidden. And stay quiet. Thank you, I whispered. My knees weak. I stumbled away. My bag slipped. I grabbed it. I ran again. Through dark streets. Through rain. My body ached. My lungs burned. Every shadow seemed to chase me. I kept moving. Finally, I saw Hania's building. A small light in the window. Hope. My legs moved faster. My heart leaped. I rang the bell. My hands wet. My hair stuck to my face. I could not speak. I could barely breathe. The door opened. Hania. Tears in her eyes. Aira. Oh my God. You're here. I ran, I said. My voice broken. I could not stay. She pulled me inside. Warmth hit me. Safe. I leaned against her. I don't know what to do, I whispered. You're safe now, she said. I will hide you. No one will find you here. I nodded. My chest tight. Relief. But fear still lingered. I knew the world had turned against me. The night was not over. Not yet. I sat on her couch. Rain dripped from my hair. My bag fell to the floor. I looked around. Safe, but trapped in another way. This is only the beginning, I said to myself quietly. Hania held my hand. I will help you. We will plan. But you must rest first. I closed my eyes. My body shaking. My mind racing. Memories of Zayden. The mansion. My mother. My brother. Everything. Pain, fear, anger, tears. I whispered, I will not go back. The rain fell outside. Cold and sharp. I held on to that thought. My heart ached. But I survived. I survived. Chapter 6, A House of Secrets and Silence. I ran up the narrow stairs, my shoes clacking against the old wood. My chest felt tight. I could hear the rain outside, heavy and loud. Hania's apartment smelled like soap and old books. I collapsed into a corner of her storeroom, hugging my knees. I'm here, she whispered, placing a small blanket over me. Her hands were warm. Eat something, she added, pushing a small plate toward me. I shook my head. My stomach had no space for food. My heart was full of fear, too heavy to swallow. You need to eat, Hania said, kneeling beside me. You can't hide like this forever. I can't go back, I whispered. Not yet. My voice trembled. I can't face him. I know, she said softly. But hiding forever is not the answer either. I turned my head toward her. Her eyes were steady, full of something I hadn't seen in months. Courage. She always had courage. How do you do it? I asked. I mean, face life like this? Hania laughed lightly, but it didn't reach her eyes. I survived worse than this, she said. You will too. But first, you have to believe you can. I pressed my forehead to my knees. I don't know if I can. He is everything. Rich, strong. I feel small. My voice cracked. I feel like I am nothing. You are not nothing, she said firmly. You are scared. That's normal. But you are not nothing. Remember that. The room was quiet. Only the rain and the hum of the heater filled the air. I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. Memories came rushing back. Father yelling. Mother crying. Sammy hiding behind his books. I remembered how little I had chosen for myself. Every decision was someone else's. I felt it then, how small my life had been, how trapped I was. I never chose anything, I said, almost to myself. Not my school, not my friends, not even my own house. Everything was decided for me. And now, I paused, swallowing hard. Even my marriage. Hania placed her hand on my shoulder. Then start choosing now, she said. Start with one thing. One small thing you can control. What? I asked. My voice was faint. Where you sleep tonight, she said. That's yours. The food you eat, your time, your mind, they are yours too. I nodded slowly, thinking about her words. It doesn't feel like it, I whispered. I feel like I am running in circles. Everywhere I go, he could find me. Hania's eyes softened. He could, she admitted. But there is a difference between running and disappearing. You can hide, yes. But you also need a plan. You need a life, not just a hiding spot. I swallowed and looked down at the plate again. My hand trembled. I don't even know where to start, I admitted. I feel lost. Hania smiled faintly. Then start with one small step. Eat something. Sleep well. Keep your head clear. She handed me a glass of water. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers. Listen to it. I nodded, finally taking a small sip. The water felt cool in my throat. It calmed me a little. For the first time in hours, I felt a flicker of safety. The phone rang suddenly. I jumped. Hania picked it up quickly. I saw her face change. Her hand tightened around the phone. It's him, she said softly. Zayden. I froze. My heart pounded. What does he want? I asked. My voice was small. He wants to know where you are, Hania said. Her jaw tightened. He says if he doesn't find you soon, he will take legal action. My stomach dropped. Legal action? What can he do? Many things, Hania said. He has money, influence, he can make your life very hard. But we can deal with it. Don't panic. I am panicking, I whispered. I can't be caught. Not now. Not like this. Hania held my hand firmly. Then don't be. Stay calm. We will plan. We will think. We will survive. I nodded, trying to believe her words. My mind raced. What if he finds me? What if he knows Hania is helping me? What if Sammy is found first? Every thought was heavy and sharp. Fear clawed at me like ice. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in the corner of the storeroom, staring at the faint light from the window. Every shadow seemed alive. Every sound outside the wall was Zayden coming for me. I pulled the blanket tighter around my shoulders. Then, my phone buzzed. A new message. From an unknown number. You can run, but you're still mine. I felt my stomach twist. Only one person could write that. Only Zayden. My hands shook. My heart raced. I dropped the phone. The words burned in my mind. Fear, sharp and heavy, crushed me. Hania came over and picked it up. She read it quickly and frowned. It's him, she said. Her voice was low, serious. You have to be careful. I can't stay here, I whispered. He will find me soon. I feel it. I can't breathe in this house. Every second, I feel him getting closer. You need a plan, Hania said. Hiding forever is not safe. Some men don't chase out of love. They chase out of possession. He wants to control you, not protect you. Her words hit me like cold water. Possession. Control. That was all it had ever been. I had believed he wanted to save my family. But really, he wanted me. Me alone. My freedom was never his concern. Tears burned my eyes. Then what do I do? I whispered. Disappear, Hania said firmly. Completely. No trace. We will change your phone. Your ID. Your address. You will have a new life. One he cannot touch. One that is yours. I wiped my tears and nodded. My hands felt clammy. My mind spun with fear, but also hope. Maybe I could live for myself, not for everyone else. I will, I said quietly. I will do it. I will leave completely. I will not let him, not let anyone, take me again. Hania smiled faintly. Good. That's the first step. Tomorrow, we start. I hugged the blanket tighter and looked out the window at the rain. The world seemed vast and empty. But I felt something inside, tiny and fragile, courage. Not loud, not heroic, but a whisper. A promise. I whispered to myself, I choose me. I choose freedom. I will survive. The night stretched long and cold. Every creak in the building made me flinch. But I stayed awake. I planned. I imagined a life where no one could own me. My old life, my mother, Sammy, Zayden, was all behind me. My future was waiting, unknown but mine. I thought about father's anger, mother's pressure, Sammy's dependence. I thought about Hania's strength and kindness. I thought about every step I had taken to survive. And I thought about Zayden's message, you can run. Yes. I could run. But now, I knew, this time, I would not run blindly. I would disappear. I would live. I slept lightly, with one eye open, holding onto the blanket. It was not much, but it was mine. And in the darkness of that small storeroom, I promised myself, I will be free. I will survive. I will take my life back. No one will own me again. Chapter 7, Confronting the Truth I Never Wanted. I waited outside the small cafe for Sammy. My heart beat fast. I hated that I feared him too. He was my brother, yet he always hid things from me. I needed the truth, now. When he arrived, he looked nervous. His eyes avoided mine. Aira, he said quietly. You wanted to see me. Yes, Sammy, I said, keeping my voice calm. I need to know. Why did you borrow that money? Why hide it from me? He shook his head. It's complicated. Complicated? I laughed bitterly. I protected you all these years. I paid your debts. And now, I find out you lied? I didn't lie, he said quickly. Not exactly. Then explain. My voice rose, and people looked at us. I didn't care. I needed answers. He sat down, hands trembling. I was blackmailed. Blackmailed? I echoed. My stomach twisted. By who? By Mira, he said softly. Zayden's sister. She said I stole from their company. You stole? I leaned closer. My hands clenched. Tell me the truth, Sammy. Did you? No. I swear, I didn't take anything. I never touched their money. It was a trap. I froze. A trap? Yes. He looked at me, tears forming. She said if I didn't pay, she would ruin us, our family. She threatened everything. I felt my head spin. Then why didn't you tell me? Why let me marry him? I thought it would fix everything, Sammy whispered. Zayden offered a solution. He said, if you married him, he would clear everything. He promised protection. I blinked. Protection? Or control? Sammy looked down. I didn't know. I didn't think it would hurt you like this. Hurt me? I shouted, my voice breaking. I agreed to marry him because I trusted you. I thought you needed me, needed help. But I was just a deal. Sammy buried his face in his hands. I'm sorry, Aira. I didn't see it that way. I was scared. I only wanted to save myself and the family. I felt my chest tighten. Save the family? I laughed hollowly. I am the family. Did you ever think about me? I did, he said quickly. But I didn't know how to stop it. Zayden, he's dangerous. And Mira, she would have, he stopped, shaking. I stared at him. Everything fell into place. Every night of fear. Every warning Mira had given. Every look Zayden gave me. It was never love. I wasn't a bride. I was a transaction. You used me, I whispered. My hands shook. I wasn't marrying for love. I was marrying for silence. Sammy nodded, tears spilling. I didn't know how else. I thought, if you married, maybe we would survive. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry and scream at the same time. But I only breathed. I looked at him and said, do you know what this feels like? To be trapped in a house, to smile at someone who controls your life? To pretend you are happy while your heart dies? I'm sorry, Aira, he said again. I didn't want this. I never wanted this. I shook my head. Sorry doesn't fix this. You think Zayden saved us? No. He owned me. And I ran away because I could. But now I know, it wasn't just about me. It was about power. And you helped give it to him. Sammy's face turned pale. I didn't. You did, I cut him off. I need to know everything. The truth. Not half-truths, not excuses. Everything. He swallowed hard. Mira, she always hated me. She hated us. She wanted Zayden to take control. When I refused her threats, she went to Zayden. He offered the marriage. He said it would protect me from ruin. From jail. From shame. I took a deep breath. My hands shook on the table. So I married him to save you. To save you from her traps. And I didn't even know it. I didn't know I was part of a contract. A plan. I never thought you would find out this way, Sammy whispered. I wanted to tell you. I thought, maybe someday. Someday? I laughed bitterly. Someday, I would have been trapped forever. I would have been his. Do you even hear yourself? I hear you, he said quietly. And I hate myself for it. I leaned back, tears blurring my vision. I hate all of this. I hate them. I hate everything. I wanted freedom, and instead, I got chains. I got a wedding, a dress, a ring, and a life I didn't choose. Do you understand, Sammy? I do, he whispered. I wanted to help. Help? I shouted. Help feels different. Help doesn't put someone in a cage. Help doesn't make them a pawn. Sammy flinched. I know, Aira. I was wrong. I never thought of it that way. I pressed my fingers to my eyes. I have trusted too much. I have loved too much. And now, I am alone. But at least I know the truth. Sammy's lips trembled. I'm sorry. I really am. I looked at him. Sorry doesn't fix this. But maybe knowing helps. Maybe someday, I can forgive. Not you, not yet, but someone will pay. And someone will know the truth. He nodded, tears running. I hope you can find peace, Aira. I swallowed my anger and pain. Peace, yes. But first, I need answers. I need justice. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number, meet me. I can help. But you must face the truth fully. Only then can he fall. My heart skipped. I looked at Sammy. I don't know who this is. But, maybe it's what I need. Be careful, Sammy whispered. Whatever you do, don't trust anyone too fast. I never do, I said, my voice steady. But I need someone who can fight this. Someone who understands. I stared at my reflection in the cafe window. My face pale, eyes wet, hands trembling. I was still scared. I was still small. But something inside me hardened. I could feel it. I could take back my life. The truth hurt. It was sharp. It cut deep. But now, I could see clearly. I wasn't just a victim. I wasn't just a bride. I was a weapon. And soon, I would use it. My mind raced. Mira, Zayden, even Sammy, they all thought they controlled me. But they didn't. Not anymore. I texted back the unknown number, where and when. The reply came almost immediately, tonight. Hiding place. Be ready. I closed my eyes. I imagined Zayden's face. Calm. Smug. Thinking he had won. I wanted him to feel fear. I wanted him to regret. But I also felt fear. Fear that I might fail. Fear that the people I loved, like Sammy, might be hurt again. Fear that I was not ready. Then I remembered Hanya's words, courage isn't not feeling fear. Courage is going anyway. I opened my eyes. My hands were steady now. My heart still raced. But I felt alive. For the first time, I truly felt alive. Tonight, I would face the truth. Tonight, I would step into the darkness to take back my life. And no one, no Zayden, no Mira, no one, would ever own me again. I stood, leaving Sammy in silence. He watched me go, his eyes full of guilt, full of regret. I didn't look back. I had a new plan. A new life. A new fight. And I was ready. Chapter 8, Karma has a strange way of coming back. I waited in the dark alley near the cafe, shivering under my thin coat. Rain had soaked my hair. My heart thumped like a drum. I knew Omar would come, but the fear in my stomach refused to leave. I'm here, a voice whispered from the shadows. I jumped slightly. Omar? You scared me. He stepped closer, hands in pockets. His face was serious, his eyes dark. Sorry. I didn't want anyone to see us. We can't risk it. I nodded. I can't believe I agreed to meet you here. What if someone sees me? They won't. Trust me. He looked around. I have information about Zayden. Things you need to know. I swallowed. My throat was dry. What kind of information? Omar's jaw tightened. The locked room in his mansion, it isn't empty. It's full of evidence. Letters, recordings, documents. Proof of how he manipulates people. You're not the first, Aira. I took a step back. My heart sank. Not the first. You mean, other women? Other families, other situations. He makes people obey him. Or he ruins them. His voice dropped. Your marriage, it wasn't unique. It was just another transaction. I felt sick. My knees trembled. I thought he saved my brother. I thought, my voice cracked. I thought it was love. Omar shook his head. It wasn't love. Not in the way you think. He uses kindness to trap people. To control them. Tears blurred my vision. I hate him. I hate that I stopped. My fingers clenched. I just want him gone. I want him to pay. Omar nodded. You can. But we need a plan. A careful one. We expose him, and no one can twist the truth. I looked at him. Do you know what I'm afraid of? What? Going back there. The mansion. I'll be near him again. I'll see him. I'll hear his voice. My voice faltered. I might freeze. Omar's hand brushed my shoulder lightly. I know. That's why you won't be alone. I'll be there. But you must decide. Are you willing to face your fear? I swallowed hard. I think I have to. I can't live like this. Always running. Good. He pulled out a small notebook from his coat. Here. These are the details of what's in the locked room. Every file, every letter, every recording. We can use them. But it won't be easy. You must go back inside the mansion. My stomach twisted. Go back? Inside? Are you insane? Omar's voice was calm but firm. No. Smart. We can do this. If we act carefully, Zayden will never know. We'll take everything. Proof. Then you're free. Finally free. I sat on the wet curb. My hands shook. I don't know if I can do it. What if he finds me? What if he... My voice trailed off. You will be careful. You have courage, Aira. I've seen it. You survived worse than this. This is just one more step. I wanted to believe him. I needed to. I can't fail. Not now. Not after everything. You won't fail. But we need to prepare. Omar handed me a small pen drive. This has a copy of what we can take. Memorize it. You must know what to grab. Every document matters. I took the pen drive with trembling fingers. I feel sick. You will. But fear means you care. That's good. Fear keeps you alive. But don't let it control you. I nodded slowly. I'll try. Omar's eyes softened. I know you will. And there's more. Hania, she must know. She has to help. You can't do this alone emotionally. She's your anchor. I bit my lip. She'll be angry I'm going back. She begged me to leave everything. I know. But she wants you safe. She wants you alive. And she'll understand. You need support. No one fights Zayden alone and wins. I remembered Hania's face, her tears last night. She had begged me not to lose myself. Not to let fear or hate consume me. I'll tell her. She'll help. She has to. Omar nodded. Good. And one more thing, when you return, pay attention. Every detail. Mirrors, curtains, voices, footsteps. Nothing is random in that mansion. Zayden controls everything. You must anticipate him. I shivered. I never knew fear could be this strong. My whole body, it's shaking. That's normal, he said. Fear and courage live together. You will be amazed at what you can do. I clenched my fists. I have to be strong. I can't be that scared girl anymore. I must be someone else. Someone brave. Omar smiled faintly. Exactly. Remember the girl you were, afraid, timid, silent. That girl is gone. Now, there is you, angry, smart, and ready. You can change your life tonight. I looked up at the rain-filled sky. I hope I can be her. I really do. You will. But you must act. No hesitation. If you hesitate, Zayden wins. I hugged my knees. I hate him. I hate that he had power over me. And I hate that I let him. But I want my life back. You will get it, Omar said. If you follow the plan, tonight, Zayden will lose control. You will take back your life. My mind raced. I thought of my mother's voice, of Sammy hiding the truth, of my own fear. Everything led me here. I realized I didn't want revenge just for me. I wanted justice for everyone he had ruined. Are you ready to return? Omar asked quietly. I shook my head. I don't think I'll ever be ready. But I have to. I have no choice. That's courage, he said. You are brave, even if you don't feel it. I closed my eyes. I remember the little girl I was. Afraid of shadows, afraid of voices, afraid of men like Zayden. I remember hiding, shaking, hoping someone would save me. But no one came. I was alone. And now? Omar asked. Now, I took a deep breath. Now, I am not alone. I have Hania, I have you, and I have myself. I will not run this time. Omar nodded. Good. Tonight, we end it. I swallowed again. My throat was dry, my palms wet. I hope I survive it. You will. Fear is part of surviving. But courage is what makes you live. I looked at him. I have courage, don't I? Yes. You just need to trust it. We sat in silence for a while, listening to the rain. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought he might hear it. I kept repeating to myself, I am brave. I will not run. I will survive. After a few minutes, Omar leaned closer. Here's the plan. You enter through the side door. I'll wait outside. You go straight to the locked room. Take the files. Memorize, photograph, whatever you can. Then exit the same way. Keep calm. Don't talk. Don't look around. I nodded slowly. Side door, locked room, straight in, straight out. My voice shook. I can do that. You will. But remember, Zayden is always watching. Always listening. Trust your instincts. I have to. My hands gripped the pen drive. I can't fail. Not now. Not tonight. Omar stood. I'll contact Hania. She will hide you. You'll be safe after. I followed him for a few steps. I feel like my life is ending and starting at the same time. That's exactly it. Fear and hope together. That's life. Now go home, rest. Tonight, you fight. Tonight, you take your life back. I nodded again. My mind was a whirlwind of fear, courage, and hatred. I remembered every lie Zayden told me. Every time he smiled, pretending he cared. Every moment I thought I had no choice. Every time I hid. Every time I cried alone. Tonight, none of that mattered. I was returning. I would face him. I would expose him. I would survive. And I would finally be free. Chapter 9, The Night I Took My Power Back. I crept through the dark hallway, heart hammering in my chest. My hand held Omar's tightly. "Are you sure this is safe?" I whispered. "It's now or never," Omar said. "We have to see the room." I swallowed hard. I remembered every cold wall, every shadow in this house. My palms were wet. My legs trembled. I wanted to run, but I could not. Not tonight. "Do you think he will notice?" I asked. "He might," Omar said quietly. "Stay close. Don't make a sound." We reached the door. The lock looked ordinary, but I knew it held secrets. Omar pulled out a small tool. I felt my stomach twist. "This feels like breaking into my own prison," I said. "You're taking your power back," Omar whispered. "Not breaking in. Reclaiming." The click of the lock echoed like thunder. I held my breath. We pushed the door slowly. Inside, piles of papers, folders, and boxes greeted us. I shivered. "Oh my God," I breathed. "This is everything." Omar nodded. "We need to find the files proving him." I knelt, picking through the documents. Letters, photographs, recordings. I could see the plan, the manipulation, every lie. My chest felt tight. Anger, fear, and hope swirled inside me. "Look," I said. "These letters, he's done this before. Many times." Omar's face darkened. "Yes. You're not alone. Many women," he trailed off. I clenched my fists. "Not anymore. Not me. I will not let him win." A sudden sound made me freeze. Footsteps. Slow. Calm. My breath caught. I pushed behind a curtain. My heart pounded. I could hear every step. He was close. "Who's there?" His voice was low, smooth, terrifying. I did not move. I could feel sweat running down my back. My hands shook. "I knew you would come," Zayden said. "I always knew." My stomach dropped. I thought I was ready. But hearing his calm voice, not shouting, made my blood run cold. I, my voice trembled. I could not speak. He stepped closer. "Do you think you can hide from me?" I swallowed hard, trying to breathe slowly. "I am not hiding. I am done running." He paused. "Is that so?" "Yes," I said. My voice was firmer now. "I am done." I stepped from behind the curtain. My legs felt like lead. I held my chin high, though my chest burned. My eyes never left his. He smiled slightly. Not cruel, but calm. "You are brave, foolish, but brave." "I am not foolish," I said. "I choose myself." He leaned closer. I could see his eyes, sharp and dark. He reached out. My heart stopped. I stepped back. "Do not touch me," I said. My voice shook, but I held it steady. "You think you can beat me?" Zayden said softly. "You think this ends tonight?" "It ends when I decide," I said. "Not before." He studied me, his expression unreadable. Then he slowly withdrew his hand. I felt a spark of victory, small but real. You've grown, he said. Stronger than I expected. I had to, I said. You made sure of that. The papers in my hands felt heavier now. Evidence of my suffering, yes, but also of my freedom. My fingers clenched them tightly. I am taking these, I said. And I will use them. I will make sure no one else suffers. You are certain? Zayden asked. Yes, I said. I am certain. Omar stepped forward. We should go. Now. I nodded. I turned, dragging the documents with me. Each step felt like leaving a shadow behind. I was no longer the scared girl who ran before. I was something else. Something new. We passed through the hall. My mind raced. Every memory of fear, every locked door, every cruel glance, it all passed through me. But I was no longer trapped. Suddenly, Zayden's voice came again. Remember this night. Remember who you were. I will not forget you. I paused for a moment. My heart beat fast. I looked back once. His calm face, his dark eyes, haunted me. But I did not falter. I am not who I was, I said. I am not yours. I am mine. We left the room. The cool night air hit my face as we exited through the side door. My hands were sweaty, but my grip on the documents was firm. I felt alive. I felt strong. I can't believe we did it, I whispered to Omar. We did, he said. But it's not over yet. I nodded. It will be over. I will make it over. My legs carried me forward. Each step felt lighter than the last. I remembered all the nights I cried alone, all the times I thought I had no power. And now, I had it. For the first time in years, I felt something I thought I lost. Freedom. Zayden's mansion disappeared behind us. The papers were in my hands, proof of everything. And I knew one thing clearly, I would never be afraid again. I had faced him. I had faced my fear. And I had taken back my power. Chapter 10, The only way out was to choose myself. I stood outside the mansion, my hands shaking. The night air was cold, and I could hear my heartbeat. Omar whispered, "Are you ready?" I nodded, even though my voice failed me. "Yes. I am ready," I said. My eyes scanned the dark windows. I saw shadows moving inside. "Remember," Omar said, "just say everything. Be calm." I swallowed hard. I had to face him. I had to say the truth. Tonight was my last chance. The door opened slowly. Zayden appeared. His face was calm. Too calm. He smiled faintly. "I knew you'd come back," he said. His voice was smooth. I felt anger rise. "I am not yours, Zayden," I said. My voice trembled, but I kept it strong. "You never were." He stepped closer. "You think you can fight me?" he asked. "You can't. You need me." I shook my head. "I don't need anyone to control me. Not you. Not anyone." My words felt heavy. My heart raced. I saw Mira behind him, her face cold. She crossed her arms. "Stop," she said. "You can't do this." "I can," I said. "I am leaving. I choose me." Zayden frowned. "You think this is freedom," he said. "You are afraid. You need me." I took a deep breath. "No. I am afraid of losing myself. That is all." Omar held his phone, recording silently. I noticed Zayden glance at him. "What is he doing?" he asked. Nothing you care about, I said. My voice was louder now. This time, I am not scared. I stepped closer. All the threats, all the lies, all your power, gone. Zayden's eyes flashed. You can't do this, he said. I own this house. I own your life. No! I shouted. You do not own me. You never did. I took another step forward. I choose myself. I choose my life. My future is mine. Not yours. Mira gasped. Stop this now, she yelled. It is too late, I said. Everything is out in the open. I saw Zayden's lips tighten. Do you really think you can destroy me with words? He asked. I raised my chin. I don't need to destroy you. I just need to leave. Justice will follow. He paused. His eyes were sharp but confused. Justice, he repeated. You call this justice? Yes, I said. Because I am finally free. Free from your control. Free from lies. Free from fear. Zayden's face changed. I saw anger. Then shock. Then something else. Regret? I didn't care. I kept going. I know everything, Zayden. Your threats. Your plans. Your manipulations. The locked room. The letters. The recordings, I said. Everything is recorded. Everything is proof. He looked at Omar. His eyes widened. Mira looked angry. She stepped forward. Give me that phone, she shouted. Stop this. I ignored her. I focused on Zayden. Do you see now? You can't scare me anymore. Your power is gone. And your lies are over. Zayden's hand twitched. His jaw was tight. He looked like he might explode. You think you've won? He asked. I don't care, I said. I only care about me. I felt tears prick my eyes. Not from fear, but from relief. I finally spoke. Finally. My heart pounded. My throat hurt. But I was speaking my truth. Stop. Mira said again. You don't know what you're doing. I turned to her. I know exactly what I am doing. I am taking my life back. All the pain. All the lies. I am done being afraid. Zayden took a step forward. I felt fear. But I refused to run. I raised my voice. This is over, Zayden. No more control. No more threats. You can't touch me now. His eyes darted to Omar. Then he looked at me. Something broke in him. Anger mixed with panic. I saw it. You can't, he started. Yes, I can, I said. I already did. This is my choice. I held my ground. My voice shook, but it was strong. I am free. And nothing you do can change that. The silence was heavy. Mira looked like she might faint. Zayden stared at me, breathing fast. I realized he wasn't angry anymore. He was lost. He didn't know how to react. I felt a small smile. It was strange, but satisfying. He whispered. You left me no choice, he said finally. I nodded. I left the choice to you long ago. You chose fear. You chose control. I choose me. His eyes burned, but I didn't flinch. I felt strong. I felt alive. Finally. Omar lowered the phone. It's enough, he said softly. We have everything recorded. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The evidence was safe. My freedom was safe. Suddenly, we heard sirens. I froze. Mira gasped. Zayden's face went pale. Police? He asked. I nodded. Yes. This time they will listen to me. Not you. The door opened. Inspector Dud stepped inside. He looked at us all. Everyone stay calm, he said. We are here because of complaints. Let's resolve this. Zayden's hands shook. Mira covered her mouth. I stepped forward. Inspector, I said. I have evidence of manipulation, threats, and control. Everything is here. Omar handed the phone to me. You recorded all, I said. This is proof. Inspector Dud nodded. He looked at Zayden. Then Mira. His expression was sharp. We will check everything, he said. Stay here. I felt relief, more than ever. The fear was fading. I was standing tall. I was safe. I was finally myself. Zayden's shoulders sagged. I saw the mask break. His calm, his control, his power, all gone. Mira looked stunned. You will regret this, she said quietly. No, I said. You will regret your choices. I will not. I walked past them slowly. Each step felt heavy and light at the same time. I was leaving the darkness behind. Leaving the fear. Leaving them. Omar followed quietly. Inspector Dud stayed calm. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Outside, the air was fresh. The night felt cold, but I didn't shiver. I felt alive. I felt free. I realized I could breathe again. For the first time in years, I could think about myself. My future. My life. Not Zayden's control. Not Myra's cold eyes. Not my mother's guilt. I was free. Hania waited in her car. She opened the door, smiling. You made it, she said softly. I nodded, too tired to speak. I collapsed into the seat. The car drove off. I watched the mansion disappear in the distance. Shadows fading behind it. The fear was gone. The pain would stay, but I could heal. Finally, I could heal. The sunrise came slowly. I watched it from the car window. Colors spilled over the city. Orange, pink, soft yellow. I took a deep breath. This is my life, I whispered. Finally mine. Hania smiled, holding my hand. You did it, she said. You chose yourself. I smiled faintly. Yes, I said. Finally. I felt tears, but they were calm. Not fear. Not anger. Relief. Freedom. Everything I lost, I would rebuild. Everything I feared, I overcame. I was alive. I was strong. I was me. The only way out had been to choose myself. And I did.